It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM and 710 AM. I'm Kevin Keatsman in for the next hour, leading you up to the Vince Show. It's my understanding Vince will be back today. He had a guest host yesterday named Moon. Did you notice that? Moon Griffon. It was very interesting, very different. Nice to hear a veteran Louisiana broadcaster on Nationwide. The Vince will be back today. We've got you the next hour, and we've got some really good topics today, including a segment we'll do in about a half an hour with Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. We'll talk a little NFL. We're going to talk about quarterbacks in the NFL. There's a crazy couple of anomalies out there with the Chiefs. The fact that they are 5-4 with the third best total defense in the NFL and Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback. How in the world are the Chiefs 5-4? And Drake May of the Patriots is the odds-on favorite to win the MVP right now. It's probably a player you may have never heard of. They play tonight. I think the Patriots play tonight against the Jets. He is the leading candidate for the MVP. We'll talk some quarterbacks with Lee Sterling, get his thoughts on the Chiefs-Broncos and our college games in the areas as well. Of course, we always check in with my man Mark Van Sickle. Did you enjoy the movie The Sandlot, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
You remember Squints and his famous stunt in the movie? Can you recall exactly what it was that he did in that movie to get a girl to kiss him?
Oh, yeah. When he's pretending like he's
drowning.
Drowning, yeah.
And he's laying there, and Wendy Puffercorn comes and gives him mouth to mouth, and he opens his eyes and he smiles like, I kissed a woman.
Yep.
This happened yesterday.
Really?
At the Annika Sorenstam golf tournament where Caitlin Clark was playing golf. Oh, you're going to stay tuned for that. It involves the unbelievably attractive former Mizzou star, Sophie Cunningham. Oh, that's a good one. We'll save that for the end of the show. We will start today just so excited that the suffering and the pain and the struggle in America is over. Our government is back open. This whole thing was a ruse. I'm not going to spend much time on that because you don't care and I don't care. I got something much more interesting we're going to lead with here in just a moment. But the White House has just released a figure saying that because of the Schumer shutdown over the last 45 days, that the economy in the United States suffered a $90 billion loss over those 45 days. I think the White House is bracing to defend some numbers coming out that they don't like, and they're going to say, well, this wouldn't have happened if there wasn't a shutdown. I think they're greasing the wheels for that. We start today with, I'm looking back. It's been almost a year since I got on KCMO Talk Radio. I've had such a great time doing this, and I try every day to bring a positive attitude and maybe entertain a little, enlighten, encourage all of us to live our best lives. I think we have that in us. Sometimes we have good days, some days we have bad days, and it can be difficult. But one of the themes of this show, if you've been listening for, I don't know, more than a couple of weeks, you've probably heard me say, we're winning on a lot of fronts. It's getting better in America. 10 years ago, you were afraid to say that you supported Donald Trump. People aren't so afraid anymore. They wear hats, they vote. He got a record number of votes. He won easily. He won the popular vote, all of those things. So it's not controversial at all to be a Donald Trump supporter. And we've made a lot of progress in this area. We've seen a lot of people step forward and just say, okay, I'm in. Yes, this is good for America. I'm in. A lot of people have done that. And I've said many times that we're not living in 2015 anymore. It's 2025, and it's an entirely different world. I feel like we gave away an entire decade of progress in the last week. And it crystallized for me yesterday when I saw Detroit Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown apologize for doing the Trump dance in the end zone when scoring a touchdown against the Commanders on Sunday. Trump was up in the presidential suite at the Commanders Stadium. He was on the broadcast with Fox Sports. Everybody knew he was there. He did an epic flyover. It was cool. Yes, some Commanders fans flipped him off. There's a lot of people in D.C. that are whacked out liberals, and they were at the game. So there was some of that. But it was it was the beginning of Veterans Day. He swore in some service personnel. It was all in all a great day. And to watch Amon-Ra St. Brown, who he and his family have, I think his dad, he's a military brat, as I understand it. His dad was in the military. And his teammates come over and do the YMCA dance in the end zone was fun. It doesn't require a follow-up. It doesn't require any reporter asking a question. It doesn't require anything. But St. Brown went on a podcast yesterday and said, basically, he didn't mean to offend anybody. First of all, St. Brown said, if I offended anyone, I do apologize. I did not mean to offend anyone. It was just, we were having fun. If any president was at that game and had a dance, I would have done it. It had nothing to do with who the president was. We were just having fun. It's nothing more, nothing less. Any president gets a dance. I don't understand this. I don't understand the need to apologize to people over politics. If you did the dance, you knew what you were getting into. He's lying. He knew exactly what he was getting into. And so did Pat McAfee. And we spent some time talking about Pat McAfee yesterday. McAfee doubled down on his show yesterday. That's 2 days in a row. McAfee has made comments to haters, especially the media, because he had Donald Trump on his podcast. What podcaster in America would not have Donald Trump? Name one. Liberal podcasters and shows would love to have Donald Trump on. There's nobody that turns that interview down. This is not controversial, and McAfee was essentially apologizing. Yesterday, he went even further, and he said, I got people who don't even know what the shape of a football is that have never watched this show, okay, telling me awful things, they want me to die and all this stuff, and he used the F word and told them to F off. He doesn't care if they watch or listen. Well, that's a little bit better, but stop giving them the time of day. Bo Nix is the quarterback of the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs play them this week. He's off social media. He doesn't do any of it. He's like, if somebody doesn't tell me to my face, I don't know that it's going on. I don't hear from any of the fans, the lovers, the haters, the winners and losers in gambling. I don't want any of it. That's one of 32 starting quarterbacks that's doing it the right way. He completely ignores it. But you get to this point where we see all these people that are conservative doing what it is that they do, living their best lives, feeling like they have to apologize for this. This makes no sense. Also revealed this week, this is the third one, and I'm really getting upset about this because there's no reason for it. I've always assumed Ozzy Osbourne and his wife Sharon and their wacky kids were maybe a little bit left of center. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. They've never been overly political to my knowledge, although Sharon Osbourne was on The View and gave comments and whatnot. But I don't look at them and think, okay, this is some whacked out, Sharon Osbourne always seemed reasonable to me. They're sitting around with the son Jack this week and they go, should I play it? Should I play it? And Jack holds it up on this podcast thing they're doing, and he plays a voice recording of Donald Trump, who called Sharon Osbourne when Ozzy died and left a message, and it was the sweetest, best message you've ever heard in your life. And they feel compelled to come out and go, that was really nice, but we're not into politics. You do politics, you can't win. I'm like, you're playing something that's human and real about a man who's the president of the United States, who's calling about a rock star from Great Britain that died, saying, I met him on several occasions. He was a wonderful man, incredibly talented. It's a terrible loss. I'm so sorry for your loss. I just wanted you to know that, and please get feeling better about this great man you were married to. Who does that? And then they play it because they want everybody to know that it happened, but then they sort of apologize for it. We got to stop, folks. You don't apologize for being who you are in the United States. You don't. Pete just told a story about a crazy lady on an airplane from Phoenix to D.C. They had to land the plane in Kansas City because she's screaming fascist at 3 Republican congressmen from Arizona that are on the plane. Do you think she's apologizing for her behavior? No. She's going to pay a fine. She's going to be back somewhere in real trouble in a courtroom. She's got real problems on her hands. She's not going to apologize for that. She's not going to back down. And it gets even worse because Sydney Sweeney is the hottest celebrity in America today. You remember the jeans commercial. Sydney Sweeney's on a show called Euphoria with an actress named Zendaya. Am I saying that properly?
Yeah, Zendaya. Yep.
Zendaya's kind of the star. Sydney Sweeney's role is smaller, but she's on there. And apparently they have a bitter feud going. It's been reported in the press. Zendaya will not do a press tour. The season 3 of Euphoria is starting. Zendaya will not do media. She doesn't want anybody to ask her questions because she hates Sydney Sweeney. Because Sydney Sweeney's a Republican. They have a bitter feud. What's the grievance here? She says, I won't do the press tour. I will not stand next to her in promotional photos, and I will not appear with her on a red carpet. I don't want to hurt my career by standing next to a Republican. Really? So Zendaya can do that and not even make news. Like it doesn't, if you're crazy left saying wacky things, it doesn't make news. You do something fun like the Trump dance in the end zone in an NFL game, you have to apologize for it? I don't remember one NFL player apologizing for kneeling during the anthem or turning their back. I don't remember anybody apologizing for wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts now that Black Lives Matter is a bankrupt criminal organization. I don't remember anybody apologizing. Well, I was kind of wrong about George Floyd. The coroner says he died of a drug overdose, not a knee on the neck. I don't remember these apologies from the left. Do you? As terrible as it sounds, and maybe this is anti-Christian, maybe it's anti-American. If we're going to do this, you got to play the game. You can't apologize. You cannot apologize for these things. You do not apologize for being a Republican. You do not apologize for voting for Trump. It's not going to hurt your career. What we've learned is the things that have really gotten canceled and hurt are businesses run by liberals. The Bud Light campaign was at the top of the list, but there's others. Target Corporation is sucking for air right now. They're getting just blasted by Walmart and Costco and everything else. The stock's in the tank. They've been on about a 7-year run since they started their pride campaigns and all the things that people, it wasn't as big in the media, but people walk in and see it. Moms with kids, it's uncomfortable. They don't want to explain it. They're like, we're done here. We'll go to Walmart. People make choices, and they're not turning away from conservatism because it's not controversial. And the touchdown dance wasn't controversial, and having Trump on that show wasn't controversial, and playing a voicemail from the president because your husband died and he left you a beautiful message is not controversial. How did these all pop up in 1 week? We can't do this. That is their game. If you play sports, do you allow your opponent to make the rules? Do you allow the opponent to dictate what type of game you're playing, or do you say, we're going to go play our game? You know, you're a up and down the court basketball team, 40 minutes of hell, and you're going to go play Michigan State. You going to allow Michigan State to slow that thing down to a 49-48 game, or are you going to keep running? You take your game to them, and you don't apologize for it. That's called competition. At the core of everything truly great in America is competition. Competition makes everything better. I'm saddened, man. That's 3 cases in 1 week where people are apologizing basically for absolutely nothing other than saying, hey, there's this cool thing, and it's sort of related to Trump. It wasn't like they were appearing at a rally and giving a speech. He did a YMCA dance in the end zone. Sharon Osbourne got a voicemail. It was a gorgeous voicemail. It was so sweet from Trump. You don't apologize for that stuff, folks. We got to do better. 913-408-7957. That's 913-408-7957. Love to take your calls next on Uncanceled. This is KCMO Talk Radio. Coming up in just a few minutes, Lee Sterling will join us from ParamountSports.com. We'll talk a little pro football with Lee. That's always fun. I don't really have the solution to all this defense we seem to play all the time and why we are defensive about who and what we are. But the Democrats are really good at, well, there's a lot of things we know that they're not good at all, like making laws and governing and come up with ideas that are good. They're not very good at that at all. They're pretty good at winning elections, and they're really good about making Republicans play defense. And it's everywhere. And I feel like now that the government shutdown is over and Trump can rightfully take a victory lap, everybody knows that the Republicans won this thing, that they can do that. The Democrats are finding ways to make Republicans play defense already. And a lot of this is going to be economic. Okay, they knew that the longer the shutdown would occur, the worse it would be for the economy, that a lot of people wouldn't have income coming. There's just a lot of factors that are going to ripple down from the government shutdown that may not have affected me or you, but as a country as a whole. Now we've got the White House already putting out there, we lost $90 billion worth of economy in the month of October because of this shutdown. They're saying we don't have unemployment numbers. We won't be able to get those numbers. I feel defense coming. And lo and behold, they've trotted out Jeffrey Epstein again. As you know, if you listen to this show, I hate Jeffrey Epstein. I hate the story. I hate everything about it. I don't like really talking about it. The reason I don't like talking about it is it's just one of those things that feels like not much more than a massive conspiracy theory to me. Does that mean that there aren't 1 or 2 or 3 people involved with big names and did some nefarious things 20 years ago or whatever? Yes, I believe that happened. I believe Epstein was around people that were perverts and did some really bad things. I do believe that. He's dead. It's over. I don't know what's going to come of any of this. But the Democrats seem to think trotting Donald Trump's name out is really something to do. And the media lapped this up. And so they're trying to make Trump and the Republicans play defense on Epstein, which is just absurd. If they had something on Donald Trump, it would have come out during the Biden years. Clearly, because they had all the files. They had everything. There's nothing on Trump. I rest easy every night. There's nothing on Trump. Bill O'Reilly summed this up best in an interview that he did last night. And he was talking about the media and the Epstein coverage. And this is O'Reilly's quote. Quote, "You have Virginia Giuffre sitting under oath. Trump didn't do anything. And you have Ghislaine Maxwell. Same thing. But here's the most important person you have not under oath. Alan Dershowitz. Dershowitz was Epstein's lawyer. And lawyer-client confidentiality ends with death." Epstein obviously is dead. O'Reilly continues. Dershowitz went on television today. He said, "I have all of the Epstein stuff. There isn't anything on Trump. And I asked Epstein directly while I was representing him whether Donald Trump was involved in any kind of untoward activity, and Epstein repeatedly said no." So now you have the three principal players in this case all saying the same thing, yet the press is so irresponsible, so corrupt, so hateful, they will not even mention that. It's death by innuendo. That's what they're aiming for. Okay, you can call it death. This isn't going to kill Trump, and it's not really going to hurt him that bad. Their game, clearly the next 3 years, is constantly put Trump and the Republicans on defense. If they want them to be ineffective, it's make them play defense. That's what they're going for. And Trump is constantly put on defense by the Democrats, and this Epstein thing's insane. And I know a lot of you love the Epstein story and would love for me to talk about it every day. You want Clinton, you want somebody, you want Bill Gates, you want somebody on the left to go down. I get it. It's really for the internet. To me, it's not very good talk radio. It's not a great subject. Unless it's related to something else. There's all kinds of stuff on your computer if you want to go dial it up related to Epstein and go down that rabbit hole. All right, here's Tim on KCMO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tim. How are you, sir?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Good.
So, Captain Obvious here, but in so many cases, we're just too nice. We don't. In some cases, yeah, we're weak-kneed, and we give we take the high road, quote unquote, and that just gives our enemies access to our knees to cut us off. But in some cases, we just don't want to create havoc. We don't want to create an issue, and so we feel like we have to apologize because we just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But we have to look at Trump and say, you know what? This is what pushback looks like. This is what being right looks like. We don't have to apologize, but it's hard for a leopard to change the spots, and some of us are just plain too nice.
I think there's something to that. I think we largely have bigger hearts, although the Democrats somehow are commandeered with the American public that they're the people with big hearts, that they want to help everybody, but they just want to help everybody through government programs that gets them votes. We actually do things. We roll up our sleeves and do things for other people and help people when they need something. And there is a big difference. You're exactly right. And there's nothing wrong with being a nice person. Mike Johnson is probably the classic example because he did a nice job through this shutdown. He might be the nicest man in Washington, D.C. and the best person there.
I agree.
But he was pretty tough on this one. And I think you can be both.
I agree. And that you hit it. We got to get tougher. It's not that we have to give up our standards and our morals and our, who we are, but we got to toughen up.
Good job, buddy. Thanks for the call, Tim. I appreciate you very much. Tim in Wyandotte County joining us on KCMO Talk Radio. Up next, my friend Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com. Let's talk a little NFL. Chiefs had the week off. It's time to revisit this thing. Lee joins us next on KCMO. Welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com is our guest now. We're going to talk a little NFL. Boy, it's been a little dry around here, Lee. We didn't have a game last week. We need some football. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Isn't it weird when there's the bye week? You're like, I know I should be something. I know I should be rooting for my team. Like I go out and get breakfast in the mornings and used to seeing everyone, even though the Dolphins aren't good, everyone's got their Dolphins hat on. Either they're picking up food, to have friends over, or they're going to the game and having breakfast. Just kind of weird when there's the bye week. So my wife knows the drill. She's like, when the Dolphins aren't playing, she goes, all of a sudden we're sitting here watching the games by ourselves.
Yeah, it was yard work for us. That was like, okay, the Chiefs don't play this weekend. We're actually going to get some things done. So we were able to do that. Help me out here. And for all of our listeners, Lee lives in his company, ParamountSports.com. They're in Miami. How in the world does a team like the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, we're going to talk some quarterbacks here today, Josh Allen play like he did against the Chiefs and then turn around and the Dolphins just annihilate the Bills? How does that happen in this league?
Stands for not for long. That's why we watch the games. That's why it's so interesting. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, like, for instance, I had a Buffalo team last night in Maction. Had won 3 straight, and I'm like, I figured this game out. The only way the other team's going to be able to really hurt the Buffalo college team was to run the football. So their quarterback was out, and I'm thinking, oh, great, we're looking good. But the team that I picked, Buffalo, they ended up turning the ball over 5 times. They forgot to hold on to the ball. So, just when you think I've never predicted a game perfect before, so come close a couple times just shows you that's why, we love football. You never have any idea what's going to happen from one week to the next.
Well, we've had a crazy thing going on here in Kansas City. The Chiefs have the 3rd best defense in the league, and Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback, and they're 5-4. And I'm not making this up. We've never noticed this before. Every single week, the Chiefs' opponent plays their best game of the year. It is it's their Super Bowl. It is crazy how teams get up for the Chiefs.
Well, we've seen that. You win a bunch of Super Bowls and you be that dominant. I mean, I was used to it in college. My dad was the team dentist for the University of Miami for many, many years, and teams would get up to play them. They still do. I mean, it's the name, the Miami Hurricanes. So. That's what's going on.
What was the worst dental injury he ever saw as the team dentist of the Miami Hurricanes?
Oh, I mean, there was one time I think 4 or 5 teeth were knocked out by a player. He was also for the Dolphins. I think in the NFL it was Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert was missing a bunch of teeth, but him and his forearms, he put a couple guys to sleep. And never forget this. I think the guy that he hit for the Dolphins, forget who it was, he was holding like 3 or 4 of the teeth in his hand when he walked to the sideline.
They're of no use. We're going to need new ones. That wasn't going to help. It's all good. Lee Sterling, our guest, ParamountSports.com. Okay, back to quarterbacks. I feel like Drake May, the quarterback of the Patriots, and they play tonight, could walk anywhere in America and nobody could pick him out of a lineup and know who he is. Is he really the favorite for the MVP? Because I think you maybe have some better ideas of who should win this. What do you think about the MVP race and Drake May?
Well, you don't want to bet the lucky guy of the week, the guy that has a great game the week before, the guy that all of a sudden makes a jump. We saw that with Baker Mayfield for a while. I mean, everyone thought after his, I think, 3 or 4 straight comeback wins, he was the guy. Now he's like the 5th or 6th choice. You wouldn't even consider him. I think they got to start considering other positions. They got to consider maybe a running back, Jonathan Taylor, 1,139 yards. He's averaging 6 yards per carry. You average 5, and that's considered elite, and 15 touchdowns. He's the main reason they're 8-2, not 3-7. And how about Jackson Smith-Njigba for Seattle, a receiver? Right now, he might be the best receiver. He's on par to catch, if he continues this streak, 63 catches, 1,041 yards, and 5 touchdowns in just 9 games. He could end up catching balls for over 2,000 yards, and if that's the case, he should merit some consideration too.
Yeah, he's having an absolutely crazy year. There's no doubt about it. It's insane. Taylor, the running back, will be here at Arrowhead next week when the Colts play the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. So the Broncos are the opponent for the Chiefs this week. I know we'll get to the picks in a moment. They've had 2 interesting stories. They've got this linebacker, Singleton, that had the cancer surgery, testicular cancer. Yep. They found it through a drug test. They thought his hormone level was up, that he was taking substances, but then they realized he has testicular cancer. He's out, obviously, for now, but it looks like full recovery and he's going to play again. That is just a remarkable story that they found that. Normally when you get some sort of a notice from a drug test in the NFL, you're in big trouble. This one might have saved his life.
Yep. I mean, that's you always hear the bad things that happen, But yeah, this is a great story, and seen it happen
We love it.
in other cases. Yeah, so
Love it.
we hope he makes a very speedy recovery.
All right, we got 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, Lee. 31 of them are on social media. Bo Nix is not, the Broncos quarterback.
Right.
I have my own personal feelings about what that says to me about him. What does that say to you about him, the fact that he is not paying attention to any of it?
Has he ever had any at all?
I think he
Even
did.
during-
He did when he was at Auburn. He said in college, he said, I'm done with it. I'm not. It has no relevance on anything. If you don't tell me something to my face, it doesn't matter to me. I don't want to hear it.
Right. Okay, I think it's great. So
Yeah.
I love, I don't have a problem with kids, these days, and parents who withhold phones from their kids until a later age, and at certain times, I took away my phone from my kids a couple times when they weren't perfect. One was one of my daughters a teacher told her to move seats, and she said no, and I said, you're going to write 1,000 times. I will listen to my teacher, and you won't have your phone for a week. And her excuse was, the other kids aren't getting punished like that. And I said, well, the other parents, you don't have other parents
Right.
like me. So
Yeah.
you got to teach them lessons. I'm okay with it. Are you?
Yeah, I love it. I think it says to me that he's laser focused. If it's the truth, if he really doesn't go home and then start surfing through it, but if it's all true, I think that's absolutely right. But I'm a guy that doesn't read I'm on social media. I post and I do story research and stuff on social media. But if you say something about me, my replies or DM, I don't see any of it.
Right.
I will not look at any of it. It's a complete waste of my time. I don't know you. Most of it's hateful,
Right.
I assume. So I'm just not doing it. I'm out.
I do it very rarely also. So I have to because of my business.
Right.
So I get some DMs from people. So I do check, probably daily or a couple times a day just to answer questions if someone has a question. But yeah, it's so hateful. I'll never forget this. So I'm doing a show. I do a show in Seattle, and I'm on a 31-9 run in the NFL. I give out 5 free picks there every Sunday morning on their show right before the game. And some other handicapper came on and said I was 1-4 on the games that they wanted me to discuss. And so, one of the first times ever I replied to him, I'm like, yeah, how about the other 5 weeks before that when I was I think I was something like 19-6 on just the free game. So, it's a sad commentary on life and where we are today. And with NFL quarterbacks, you talk about every position is tough. Lineman is tough, but skill positions, quarterbacks, I think it's great. What they've got to discuss and what they've got to decipher and study is just almost mind-boggling every week.
Mahomes was asked about it this week, and he's like, look, I see this stuff, and a lot of it's gamblers that are upset. Sometimes it's somebody positive, hey, nice throw, it went over or something like that, but mostly it's hateful. And I'm telling you, he handled it well. He said, let me just say this. I don't understand any of it. I don't follow it. I'm not into sports gambling. I hear all this. My life's too good to be involved in any of that. But don't bet more than you can afford to lose. If you're hating somebody because of a game, you're in trouble. I thought that was a pretty good message from a quarterback.
Great. It should be carried down to life too. So a lot of life lessons from some of the good people out there like Patrick Mahomes.
Lee Sterling with us, ParamountSports.com. He is a handicapper by trade, a national handicap champion. So let's talk about some games here and some lines. And Missouri's on board now. We're a week away, 2 weeks away, live in Missouri, jumping on board. So everybody in the Kansas City area on both sides of the state line will be able to wager on the Chiefs if they like. But let's start with college football today. The Missouri Tigers back in action. They're taking on a Mississippi State team. Missouri's a 7-point favorite. What do you think of that game?
What's great about wagering is you can bet against a team. Like last week, I will bet against Missouri, went with Texas A&M, and now I think it's time to jump on board. So why do I say that? Losing 2 straight and 3 of 4 is just what I needed to get a buying opportunity here. Matt Zollers didn't look good last week, and I predicted it, but I think he's going to be a top 10 draft pick in 3 years. I think the kid is that good. I think he has a live arm, and you can't throw a kid up against that defense. A lot of quarterbacks have not looked good against Texas A&M this year. He's not going to be the last one here. I think he's going to feast on this Bulldogs run defense here. He's going to hand off the ball a lot. Ahmad Hardy, they only gave it to him 13 times last week. Give it to him 20, 25 times on Saturday. This Bulldogs defense has very little depth. They're ranked 112th in run defense. They give up over 300 rushing yards to Georgia. Give them the ball. Missouri doubles up Mississippi State 32-16.
Love it. Kansas State is on the road in Stillwater against a really poor Oklahoma State team. This is a big number, 19.5 points.
And all of a sudden, Oklahoma State scored a little bit. Zane Flores, 22 for 28 for 235 and 2 touchdowns. I know Kansas State had a bye, but not going to be getting their best running back, and now they'll be without their leading tackler too. And we've seen in the past, when you're without your leading tackler at Kansas State, they try to funnel everything to that guy so he can make tackles. That's a problem. Kansas State's going to win this game 35-21, and Oklahoma State's going to get the backdoor cover.
All right, the Chiefs and Broncos. We've been waiting on this for a while. Man, if the Chiefs win this game, I think they've got a really good chance to win the division. If they lose it, they have a decent chance to miss the playoffs. This is a big game. The Chiefs are favored by 3.5, and somehow they're the Vegas favorite right now to win the Super Bowl. Is this all accurate? What's going on here?
I think this is going to be a really tight game. So I think this is going to be a slugfest. I think Denver's defense is elite. Best in the NFL. Obviously, the Chiefs' offense is better than Denver's offense. I've never seen a team have this kind of record, and more people are talking about, are they frauds? But that defense, if they get Patrick Surtain back, and there's a good chance he makes it back for this game, it's going to bolster their defense even more. They're one of the few teams that can put a lot of heat on Patrick Mahomes, and they should have made a trade. They should have gone for Breece Hall. That was the guy. They should have given up 2 draft picks and a decent player. He's the guy that could have taken them the distance. They needed a running threat that can go one play, 70, 80 yards, and he was that guy. They were unwilling to pay the price. Late first-round picks don't mean much anymore in the first round. So I think this is going to be a tight game decided by one play or one possession. When you're getting more than 3.5, about 4 points at home, you can be trailing by 6, 7, 10 points and get a backdoor cover. I have Kansas City pulling it out. Maybe they kick a last-second field goal, but 3.5, 4 with a better defense. I think Kansas City wins 17-16. Denver covers. How great would that be?
That sounds about right to me. There you go. All right, ParamountSports.com. If you go to Lee Sterling's website, you have videos there about some of the games and some free selections. What else is at your website if people visit?
Well, you want to get involved. We do everything UFC, red hot there. Now for the last 5.5 years, we have 5 selections going $55 and a rare 50-unit max wager. We're 28-13 on those the last 2 years. So if you like the UFC, that's up there. NFL 31-9 run. That's an average of almost 4-1 every week for the last 8 weeks. Get 5 selections for 4 weeks called Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. Just $197. One place, ParamountSports.com.
Thank you, Lee. Let's have a great weekend, buddy. Appreciate your time today.
You too. Looking forward to it.
Take care. All right, there's Lee Sterling. ParamountSports.com is the website. I call him the Sultan of South Beach. He is a line guru and a former national championship handicapper in the National Football League. All right, Mark Van Parlay, here we go. You ready to have some fun today?
Oh, yeah.
We have a Journalist of the Year named Diana Pacheco, and she has uncovered a story where she has found a pallet of bricks. They're called bricks. These are $10,000 bricks of $100 bills of United States American good old-fashioned cash from the Kansas City Federal Reserve. They are sealed. They are unopened. Where do you think they are, and where do you think she found them?
Probably at some sports betting hub, right? No.
That's a good guess. This is a little more nefarious than that.
Really? I have no guess now.
Kansas City cash has been found in Ukraine. Ukraine. This has not gotten a lot of play. It's a whole bunch of cash. They're all sealed. It's from the Kansas City and Atlanta Federal Reserve. I don't think they're printing. They're not like new bills. They just have them. They were sent to Ukraine, and according to her report, somebody clearly stole them because they're unopened. If they got straight to the government, were deposited to help Ukraine or whatever's going on over there, they would be unsealed by a bank, recorded, deposited, whatever. This is like politicians stealing these things. They're all driving Bentleys. Like his whole cabinet, they're driving Bentleys. Ukrainian government's getting rich. And she found all this cash. It's a very interesting story. I just thought it was weird. There's photos of him. You can see him online. It says right on there, Kansas City Federal Reserve. KC Cash in Ukraine. How does that make you feel about a Kansas Cityan?
It's kind of odd.
Right. Really odd. I hate that when we do stuff like that. How about a Patrick Mahomes stat that'll make you feel good? What would you set the over-under on Sunday for sacks of Mahomes? Broncos are the best sacking team in the country.
I would say 3.5.
I'm going to set it a little higher than that. I'll set it at 4.5, but I'm with you. Patrick Mahomes, since the start of last year, that's a season and a half. In games where he has sacked 3 times or more, his record is 8-1.
All right.
The
So we hope for 4.
theory is the more you rush him, take the sack, as long as you don't turn it over, eventually he's going to beat the pressure, step up, extend a play, and kill you.
That makes sense.
He's
He's really good at it.
I read a great story on it. It says you can go back to every one of these games that he won where he was sacked 3 or more times, where there was intense pressure. In every single one of them, he broke loose and made a big play. And as long as he doesn't commit 3 fumble. If you get hit with a sack and fumble, obviously you're in trouble. So taking the sack is not the end of the world in this game Sunday. In a lot of games it is. A sack, they always say a sack is a punt. That's not true with Mahomes. He gets sacked on second down. You're not necessarily punting.
They converted a 4th and 27 last week against the Bills, right? Or 2 weeks ago.
Bingo. It was a big play. It kept them in the game, right? Gave them a chance to win. I see some logic to that. So I've been really worried for like a week and a half about this Broncos pass rush, and now I feel pretty good. Like, okay, if he feels the awareness, just take the sack. If nothing's there, if you can't get out of the pocket, just go down. Great. But at some point, it's going to break down. He's going to get out and kill you with a big play. I like that. The Cleveland Browns have a problem. Well, their one-loss record's a problem. Their concessions cost more than their tickets.
Oh.
They have $11 tickets available. They're building, the nachos are $12, the cheeseburger's $13, and a dog and a brew is $14. They're building a new stadium that opens in 2029 in Cleveland. It's a dome. The average ticket price will be $200. Right now you can watch them for $11. Nobody's going to believe when I say this. That stadium will be sold out.
Oh, yeah.
And by 29, their average ticket price will be higher than $200.
And they're hopeful to have a better team at that point, too. But
New stadiums are a thing.
yeah, even if they're still bad, they're still selling out.
Caitlin Clark, the famous WNBA basketball player, is a good golfer, and she's playing in the Annika tournament. Annika Sorenstam, the greatest women's golfer of all time, hosts a tournament in Florida. So Caitlin Clark brings a couple of her teammates from the Indiana team to be caddies for her. One of them is Sophie Cunningham. She wears an Indiana caddy bib, right? She's tall, she's beautiful, the whole deal. At one point, they say, Sophie, why don't you take a shot? So she steps up to the tee and hits one, and it goes about 100 yards into the gallery. And she's like, oh, no. And she starts running down there. What happens?
She hit somebody?
3 different dudes lay on the ground and go, it was me. It was
They
Squints.
pulled the Squints, yes.
Squints from the Sandlot. I'm down. I'm hurting. Sophie, come over here, sweetie. Come on. I need mouth to mouth. 3 different guys hit the deck from one golf ball laying on the ground like they were dying.
Did they get it?
No.
Oh,
By the time she got there, they were proved as frauds.
Yeah.
It was some dude with his wife that got hit, and he wasn't really hurt, and they're like, it's okay, and he wound up getting a picture. The 3 guys on the ground, they got nothing and liked it. I love that one. This is an interesting story. We've heard a lot about Skydance, the new company purchased by Paramount. Paramount has become Skydance. They sent an email to every employee. Said, we're going to do some cuts here at some point, but first thing is you got to return to the office. Everybody's got to return to the office. No more working from home at Skydance. 600 people quit.
Just because they can't work from home?
Okay, I don't want to work at the office.
Wow.
Wow is right. How spoiled are those workers at Skydance? They are cleaning house. The Vince Show's coming up. He is back next on KCMO.